We have an amazing guest. DJ Sheppard is going to be on the show.
TG, close enough.
TG.
Oh, I thought I said TG. What did I say? It's been
No,
a
you
long
said
day.
T.
I'm
It's been
sorry.
a long day, brother.
Hey,
TG.
it's been a long day. I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry,
okay.
TG
That's
Sheppard.
that's okay,
Hey,
Frank.
yes.
Frank.
Hey, trust
we're
me.
both teachers, so it's been a
That's
long day
okay.
and a
It's
long.
been a long day.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Yes.
What
So
you got,
yes.
DH? You looking good on your end?
Yep.
I think I've
Everything's
got
good.
live.
We're up. We're moving live.
All
And,
right.
and the sad part about that, TG, is I'm a huge fan, and like my cousins and all, we've
First
listened
of
to your
all,
music for years.
first of all, I get that all the time because it's natural to say that as opposed to a G. It
Well,
happens.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
I actually one of my twins that we lost at birth. His name was his initials were TJ, and that's what we were always
Yeah.
calling
Oh,
him.
Yeah.
So I
no,
do apologize for that.
you owe no apology, so don't worry about it.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that, but I am a huge fan. But,
Well, thank you.
all
All right.
right,
You ready, buddy?
yes, sir. Let's get it rolling.
All right.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So, guys, take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I'm DH,
And I am DC.
and we're here to take another fantastic look back at all things 80s. And DC,
Well, little bit. We're a little bit different tonight, of
hey,
course.
well, it is a little different tonight, but
Yeah.
it was more than just the 80s. I mean, this is an icon
Darn
we're
right.
talking to tonight.
A
This is one I've been excited
country
about.
music legend.
Oh, it's we don't even belong on the same screen. I'm
Correct.
just telling you right now.
Correct.
Just an amazing individual. And I'm going to skip all the stuff we normally go back and forth about the week and all. And I'm going to let's go ahead and get the introduction in and get this
Yeah.
one started.
Oh.
Because I have been waiting. I
Yeah.
just, with the excitement, I've been waiting for this interview.
Absolutely. We are honored to have a few minutes with TG Sheppard, country music artist. He's been doing it for a good long while, and he's been doing it successfully. And
Yes.
TG, we appreciate you taking a little few minutes with us
Well,
tonight.
I'm glad to be here with you. I have been doing it a while. I celebrate my 50th year as a touring
Yes, sir.
artist.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had my first number one hit, first part of 1975, last part of 74. So we're in the process of putting together our 50th anniversary tour for next year. So I don't know where the
Fantastic.
time goes, but it's good to be with both of you, and I'm here for whatever you need.
All right.
Awesome.
I've got to start with this first. I was just amazed. I've read your bio and already knew a lot about you. My folks are big fans. We've got a lot of the albums. I know I could go over
yes.
their house and dig those
Yes.
things out.
Yes.
And so I've known about TG for a long time.
Yes, sir.
So I'm honored. I'm gonna start with that first, but it was just amazing. And if this is correct, the way I understand it, like at 15, you left in Humboldt, by the way, beautiful little town. I've been there several times.
Yep.
Humboldt, Tennessee. So you left there and was determined to get into the music business. Is that kind of how it worked out at the start?
I had a father who loved me very much, but he just didn't want music in the house. He wanted me to follow in his footsteps of heavy equipment, dirt moving equipment, and cotton pickers and combines. And I knew that I had to leave home in order to chase my dreams. So I had this brilliant idea, which was totally stupid at the time, of running away from home. Every kid's thought about that at one time.
Sure.
I got into it with their folks, but I actually did it. I climbed out of the back window of my dad's house and at 15 had hitchhiked to Memphis and was living in the alleyways and of Beale Street and eating out of garbage cans. And
Wow.
I was on a journey to chase this dream that God let me catch, and
Mhm.
it's.
Mhm.
I've never looked back. I did it the wrong way. I don't encourage anyone to chase their dream that way, but I did, and I was blessed enough to have caught the dream.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
TG, let me say this. I think we all shared in that blessing because I know growing up, some of my best memories of like, and my mom, she passed less than a year ago, but some of my most fondest memories is she would have the album on, one of your albums, and she was a big like country music dancer, square dancer and all. And we
Yeah.
would be in the living room cutting the rug, me as a youngster. So for those memories, and
Special
for everyone
memories.
out there that
Absolutely.
has those memories, I want to thank you for what you've given to everyone. So it's such a blessing. And I'm still a huge fan.
It's a huge
Um,
gift. Yep.
Yes, it was a huge gift you gave
Yeah.
me growing up, along
Yeah.
with a lot of people, especially now, no longer having my mom. I'm still able to think about those moments in the living room with those records, enjoying your music, and you still picture the smile on her face. So I personally want to tell you how grateful I am for your gift that you
Oh,
give me.
wow. I don't think anybody has said anything like that to me in a long time. That what you just said means more to me than anything I've heard in a while. Thank you. Because
Well,
that's really and truly one of the reasons that I do what I do for a living. I love making music and I love making a difference in people's lives, if for only a few minutes at a time with a song or in a concert or a record. And so I really, yeah, to hear you talk about your memories of you and your mom, that's exactly what I set out to do. So
Yeah.
evidently I did something right,
you,
but
You did it
no
right.
thanks are necessary here. It was my honor.
well, it was definitely, and like I said, I still, and we're still in that first year of losing her, but you daily think, and those are some of the best memories,
Good
and and,
times.
and
Absolutely.
picturing that smile. So I thank you very much for that.
Right.
One of the things I found very interesting when I was kind of doing some research, just as more aspects, is not only talented musician, but the business aspect, the businessman, the entrepreneur. I mean, just amazing the many hats you wear. How did all of that come about? I know, like, I was reading somewhere that you turned home that was in the Smoky Mountains into like a bed and breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
and just a lot of things. The Guitars and Cadillacs franchise. I think I read you were involved in helping getting that up and running.
Yeah.
So just amazing. How did all that aspect come in and play into the country music
From being poor and not being able to eat.
side?
I don't know. I've always loved people and I've always loved employing people. And I've always loved watching their families grow, their children grow up. So to be involved in many businesses and stuff through my career, I owned a medical company for years that manufactured knee and hip
Wow.
implants. And we
Wow. Implants. Okay.
Wow.
manufactured
Yeah.
those for every major medical company in the world. And then, of course, Guitars and Cadillacs was a chain of nightclubs that we were involved in. And I don't know, I think you need diversions in your life when you do something consistently all the time. And for me, it was music, doing concerts and recording. I needed a diversion occasionally to keep from suffering burnout or to get bored with what I was doing in music. So I would always have different things going over here somewhere to that I could always return back to music a day or two later and it'd be fresh. So I don't know. I've been very fortunate to have made some good moves financially and then some horrible moves financially.
Yes.
I mean, I gotta tell you guys,
That's life, though. I guess that's life. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, so one of my closest and dearest friends was, of course, Conway Twitty. And
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I was touring with Conway in the beginning, like so many artists have. I mean, everybody from George Strait to myself to Randy Travis, we all opened shows for Conway. And Conway would always call me and he'd say, "Now, TG, I got this idea to buy this this baseball team in Nashville called the Sound."
Right.
And I'm going, I don't know. I never wanted to own a baseball team. Well, I got involved, and that was my first fortune I lost with Conway. And then they called me again another day, and he said, "Look, there's this hotel in the Grand Caymans. It's 600 rooms. It's going up on the auction block. We need to buy that and take it over." And he said, "I got a lot of artists involved, Jerry Reed and the Gatlins and you and Waylon. And so, will you do that? And I said, well, yeah, let's try it. And I lost a second fortune there.
Mm.
So it was
Oh, no.
always something, but I was able to make a few right decisions in business that
Yeah.
kind of made up for the bad ones. But, you
Yeah.
know, I've always been involved with everything I can be involved in because I love people.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm very interested in, TG, is I would like to know who some of your early influences is, like when
Mm.
you were young and growing up. Who were some of your
Gosh.
musical influences?
Wow, I I grew up loving the music of people like Roy Orbison,
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Rich.
Yes.
God, I loved Merle Haggard. He came
Yes.
before me, and George Jones, and oh man, I love those people. Waylon, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Waylon Jennings, and those are just a few of my influences through the years. And there's been others since then that have come along that have done well with their careers, like, you know, George Strait and Blake Shelton and Kenny Chesney and all those guys that the
Yeah.
new breed, the young guns that came along after me, and I became big fans of theirs too. So, but no, that's just a few of the names I mentioned first there that influenced me the most, that made me want to. Ray Price. Oh gosh.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
One of the reasons that I wanted to become a country singer, and I've told this only a few times. We grew up on a farm, you know, not a lot of money, and walked to school every day, a couple of miles on a dirt road. But our entertainment every Saturday night was when my dad would hook up the old radio to a dry cell battery, and we would tune in the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville every Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
One night, we were listening to the Opry, and after hearing a voice, I knew then that I had to become a country singer, and that voice was Ray Price.
Mm.
Yes. What an amazing,
Yeah. What a
amazing
talent.
voice he had.
Voice,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know, that's cool that you mentioned the Opry, because Saturday night, sitting there with, you know, with my parents, you're not watching TV, you're listening to the radio. And, you know, I remember like Bonzo and Oscar and,
Yeah,
you know, Grandpa
gosh,
Jones and
yeah,
Penny
yeah.
Pearl and, you know, the Roy Acuff. I mean, you know, just the magnitude of star power or individuals that were on
Just
that
truly
stage.
amazing. Well,
It's just
there was no other
amazing.
place to find that kind of talent
Right.
in
No.
one, and it was all
And
under
we-
one roof.
And we
it's
were
amazing.
so
still under-
fortunate to
and
be,
it's still under one roof.
That's right.
yeah,
Even to
That's
this
exactly
day,
right.
No,
Yeah.
still under one roof.
yes.
I have always,
Unreal.
I've always called the Opry the greatest show. I mean, you know, for years and years, they said the Ringling Brothers is the greatest show on earth. To me, the Opry is the greatest show on earth.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
where you get a chance to stand in a circle and sing where every major star that you've ever heard in your life has stood. And to get the opportunity to stand there for me hundreds of times, I've never gotten used to it. I still have to pinch myself each and every
Oh, I
time.
bet.
It's
bet.
an amazing, every country singer wants to stand in that circle at one point in their life. And there'll be so many that never get the chance. But I've never taken for granted the opportunities that I've had to play the Opry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wanted to, it's just amazing. We could keep you on here forever, but it's just unreal that, like, early days, you opened for some people like the Beach Boys, the Animals. I mean, the big Jan and Dean. I mean, the big hits. And I'm thinking, okay, I've known all my life about TG being the country music star that he is, and I had no earthly that, you know, he had that side of you as well.
Right.
That was probably some cool experiences.
Well, I started off, you know, thinking that I was Paul Anka or Fabian or something. I don't know. I wanted to be one of those teen idols, you know, the
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
pop guys.
Right.
But I wasn't at the right place at the right time. I didn't have the right backing, and it just didn't happen for me. And then lo and behold, I got a chance to take a stab at country music, and the door opened.
Yeah.
And the reason the door opened for me in country music was when I was a record executive at RCA, one of my artists was Waylon Jennings, and I would be on tour with him. And one night in a hotel room, he took his old red box guitar
Mm.
and started singing, and I started singing along with him. And he stopped and he looked at me and he said, Hoss, you need to give up being a record executive and try being a country singer. And the next week, I went in the studio and recorded Devil in the Bottle, which became my first #1 record.
My gosh.
I never looked back.
Wow.
It was because of Waylon.
Waylon. Yeah.
Wow.
DH, what's amazing about us talking about Waylon Jennings, if you get on to my YouTube stuff now, I've got one of his greatest hits album. That's what's playing in my truck.
Yeah.
Waylon is just an amazing talent.
Oh,
I loved Waylon because
Oh my gosh.
He marched.
But he could be a storyteller too and make it work.
Oh man, he was a great storyteller. And he, as I say, he marched to his own drum.
Sure.
I respected that so much. He
Yeah.
did it his way, and if he couldn't do it his way, he would take the highway. I mean, he was. I admired that about him. I respected him so much. But what a great legacy he left behind.
Yes.
And I think that's about one of the coolest things today is like we can get on, like I can get on to, one of the apps like iHeart or something like that.
Yeah,
and I can put in one performer like maybe Jerry Reed and go to his channel, but I get to hear TG and I get to hear Jerry Reed and I get to hear Conway Twitty.
All those
and
guys.
it's like,
absolutely.
It's like, this is the channel I'm not moving from for a while because it's just,
Well,
there was just so much amazing talent.
Mm-hmm.
All of us starting out stand on the shoulders of the giants to get started. And to have had the chance to stand on the shoulders of Conway and Haggard and those guys, Waylon, and learn from them my trade. Wow. I was very, very blessed to have made friends with people like that who let me stand on their shoulders and learn from them.
Yeah.
And I always try to pay that forward myself to the new artists coming along.
Yeah. It probably to a lot of people, and DH knows I do this a lot during the summers off when we're teaching. Our teaching is on break there.
Right.
But I love to do like 1-day trips. We're here, of course, in the Nashville area, but I'll do these 1-day trips. I've seen more country music stars burial sites this summer than I ever have, and it just means a lot to me. They were an influence on me, and I just like to return the respect back. So I seen Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash and all that family, and I seen, of course, Conway Twitty, and it's just it makes you feel, oh, okay, I've kind of gone full circle. They gave me the joy of their music and talent, and I just wanted to return coming to pay respect. I think it's important.
It is important, but I have a difficult time each day waking up. I celebrate my 50th year next year as a touring artist.
Right.
I don't know where the time went. Here in the last few years, I have lost so many incredible, close, iconic friends like Kenny Rogers and
Sure.
Mickey Gilley and B.J. Thomas and Mac Davis and Charlie Pride, Charlie Daniels, K.T. Oslin, Earl Thomas Conley, and I don't know if my heart can take anymore. I've lost so many dear close friends that I loved deeply and respected deeply, and but the early acts, the giants that we were talking about standing on their shoulders, people sometimes will introduce me and mention the word legend. No, I could never touch the bootstraps of Haggard and Jones and those guys. Those people are the legends. I'm just a singer who got lucky and is able to make a living doing something he loves. I've never looked at myself that way.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I really appreciate the way you're continuing, because not only are you keeping that era of music alive, but you're keeping those memories alive of those artists as well. So, it's kind of like when I hear one of your songs or I hear a Conway Twitty song, that
Mm.
whole group of individuals you just mentioned, it's like, man, I haven't thought about, this artist in so many years. I'm going to go listen to some more of his music.
That's
I'm
right.
ready to go back and listen to that music again. So yeah, that's
And that's the
amazing.
gift. That's the gift they left us.
Yes, and it's the gift that just it
Keeps
keeps giving. So
absolutely
yes.
to
Well,
future generations.
that's the beautiful thing about what we do for a living.
Sure.
The music outlives the singer. And I hate that sometimes because I miss my friends, but I'm
Right.
so thankful
Yeah.
that they left those legacies behind for me to still hear them, because it triggers memories for me every time I hear one of their songs. It
Mm.
might be
Oh,
a
right.
concert date I was doing with them, or in the studio with them, or a story they told me. So yeah, I am just so thankful that the music does outlive the singer.
Yeah.
I'll never forget one of my first concerts. I think I was like maybe 9, 10 years old. And I was with my parents and we were in Kentucky for some reason. I don't remember why we were up there. But you mentioned Conway Twitty. It was Conway Twitty. And I had never heard of Jerry Reed till he took the stage to open for Conway Twitty. And watching him perform and play the guitar, I mean, that's why these are hanging by. I mean, it's just amazing. And
Yeah.
then I wanted to see more of the artist of that time.
There's always a memory that triggers when you mention someone's name, and you mentioned Jerry Reed there. One of the greatest stories ever. Of course, it's no secret that Elvis was one of my closest and dearest friends.
That's where I was going next. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll never forget the night that we were in Studio B of RCA in Nashville. And Elvis was recording a song called Guitar Man. And
Yes.
someone mentioned, there's this musician that we've got to call and see if we can get him in here to play the lead part on this song. It fits him perfect. Well, they called Jerry Reed. And about an hour later, I'm standing in the hallway of RCA, a long hallway. And I look down at the end of that hallway and I see Jerry Reed turn the corner, and he took off at a full run. And he ran toward Elvis, and he jumped up on Elvis and locked his arms around his neck and his legs around his waist. And he looked at Elvis and he said, "Elvis, you're about the prettiest man I've ever seen in my life." We didn't know how that was going to set with Elvis. I mean, it could have been funny or it could have been bad, but
Right.
Right.
they're laughing. And so there's always a memory in there.
Yeah.
when I name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Always.
Elvis was, I still at times can't believe that I was there. I used to tell my mom when I was like 11 and 12 years old, I'd tell my mom, someday, Mom, I'm going to meet Elvis. He's going to become my friend. And I'd always remember her telling me, well, son, I wouldn't get my hopes up too much, because the chances of you ever meeting him, let alone becoming his friend, are astronomical. But I always knew it would happen.
Mm.
And lo and behold, when it did, I wasn't surprised, because I always knew that it was destined.
Yeah.
And we met at a skating rink late one night, and I was standing out front, and the lights were all off of the skating rink, and 2 or 3 Cadillacs pull up, and Elvis gets out from behind the wheel of the lead car, walks right over to me with those steel blue eyes, and looks me in the eye, and he said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, they're closing," and I'm in shock, because that's Elvis Presley talking to me.
Right. Sure.
And I said, "They're closing the rink up. I'm leaving." He said, "Oh no, they're opening it up for me. And I'm a man short on my team. We play a little game in here called Kill. And if you don't mind being on my team," and I'm looking around like, "Are you talking to me?" And we skated for several hours, and then afterwards went up to Graceland and had the famous peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Isn't that something? That's just
That
great.
was the start of a friendship that lasted until the day he passed. Matter of fact, he gave me my first tour bus
Yes.
to get me started in the business. What an incredible human being he was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the stories are very true about him being so giving to people.
Well, he wasn't just giving. His heart was so pure And I attribute that to his mom. He was a mama's boy.
Yeah.
She left this world. Nothing was ever the same after that. She was his glue that held his life together. But he had one of the greatest hearts and one of the most spiritual hearts, and that he learned from his mom.
Yeah.
I mean, he would sit down and read me the Bible and then give me his interpretation of the scriptures. And it always amazed me that I would have the privilege of being set down and have someone like him read me the Bible.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah, that's
happened, you know,
wow.
Just amazing.
it was
That's
just
amazing.
It was destined.
I had read one of Sonny West's books.
Yeah.
And he had talked about that having that game in the roller rink.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how he got introduced. Red had introduced him
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, you need to come play this game with us," you know. And he it was kind of funny. He said there was a girl that was there. He said she was tougher than anybody. She kept taking me out. You know, that's what he said. He said I'd be looking for her, and she's wiping me out during the game.
I think the girl at that time in his life was Anita Wood. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I remember her in the beginning before Priscilla came along.
Mm-hmm.
And I still stay in touch with Priscilla. We talk every few
Wow.
months on the phone.
Fantastic.
We stay in touch. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it was it got a little, you know, the strangest thing, every time Elvis would play a game, he would always win.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There
We
you
let
go.
him win, trust me.
Yeah.
Sure.
He was the
Sure.
boss. Yeah.
Right.
Right. You're letting me hang out with you, Elvis.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
let you win.
Yeah, you're
That's
gonna
a
win.
given.
You're gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to
No
show
worries.
you up. Right. Right.
Oh, it's just some of the amazing things though, just kind of looking back. You know, some of the people that you've performed with and did duets with, it's just amazing the lineup that you know, you've worked with.
Unreal.
And you've kind of, it's just amazing. One of the things that I was kind of wondering is how did the duets, is that something where you would contact people, or did you work through just from meeting each other?
Management or how does that work sometimes?
I usually reached out to them because through the years you wind up with their phone numbers and you stay in touch and you do shows or whatever together. In the case of Clint Eastwood, I had never met him. And I was performing in Lake Tahoe, Nevada at Harrah's with Mickey Gilley and Johnny Lee on the Urban Cowboy Tour. And the phone rings in my suite one day and the operator says, "Mr. Sheppard, there's a guy on the phone says his name is Eastwood." And I'm thinking, yeah, right. Yeah, one of the guys in the band or the crew, they're playing a joke. Yeah, put him through. Well, instantly when he said hello, I went, "Oh, wow, you really are Clint Eastwood." He said,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he had called me out of the clear blue to come to LA the next day and record a duet with him called "Make My Day," which was from the movie Sudden Impact and went on to become a hit record for us. And I flew the next day to LA and spent the day with him. Haven't seen him since, haven't talked to him since, but I had that memory.
Sure you
Isn't
do.
that
Hang
awesome?
on to him forever. And he was one of the nicest, most down-to-earth guys. Very
Yeah.
soft.
Seems to be. He gives you that impression for sure.
Just the real deal, you know,
Mm.
just a
Mm.
nice human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
But most of the time, though, when you do duets with people, like with Haggard and Jones and Willie and people like that, I just pick up the phone call and say, "Hey, look, if you're not busy, would you mind doing a duet?" Well, sure.
Okay.
Most people in country music, as you both know this, are very accommodating, down to earth, non-egotistical people.
Right.
They're just real. They're just
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And every person I've ever called to do a duet has said yes. And I am
And
honored
that's something.
for that, you know. I did an album years ago called Legendary Friends and Country Duets, and
Yes.
Jerry Lee Lewis and Haggard
Yes.
and Gilly and the Oaks and B.J. Thomas, and the list went on forever.
Mm.
And they all came into the studio to record with me. And I treasure that album because what it did for me, it validated me as a singer to feel that if they took their time to come and meet me and sing with me, then maybe I was an okay guy.
Well, one
And
of the,
so
I'm sorry, go ahead.
it just,
Amen. I
it,
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
it really and truly, I'll have a hard time ever topping that album.
Yeah.
Those people
Well,
that,
That's right.
speaking of that album, looking over the lineup that you did duet with, and this is one of those we talked about, always sparks a memory.
Yeah.
Mickey Gilley. I had not thought of Mickey Gilley in years.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
had to go back and listen to some of his music because, when I was kind of digging in and stuff, I'm like, wow, I haven't heard his music in years. So I'm going back and listening to it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
Good
Mickey
stuff.
was, Mickey and I were so close. Matter of fact, I even did part of his eulogy at his funeral.
Oh, wow.
And I was honored to be invited to speak. And one of the greatest Mickey Gilley stories. I'm a storyteller, guys. Okay, I
Love it. I love it.
Yes.
I remember one day we were on his plane, and he turned to me and he said, "Hey, Teach." I said, "Yeah, Mickey." He said, "You ever wanted to own a Rolls Royce?" And I said, "Well, who doesn't want to own a Rolls Royce?" I said, "But I can't afford a Rolls Royce." He said, "I got one for sale and I'll sell it to you." I took it in from a guy that couldn't afford to pay me, and he gave me his car. And he said, "It's a 74 Silver Shadow." And I said, "What do you want for it?" He said, 25 grand. I said, "I'll buy it if you'll put it on a truck from Pasadena, Texas, and drive it to Nashville." And sure enough, he sent it to me on a truck. And from the day that I backed that car off of that truck, it stayed in the shop 6 days out of 7 days a week. And then the final straw was one day I'm at a red light in Brentwood, Tennessee, outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
And the dead gum thing catches on fire.
Oh
my
my gosh.
I called up Gilly and I said, "That piece of crap you sold me just caught on fire." He said, "That's okay, but it was Mickey Gilley's car." Oh, he had a good point.
Yeah. Yeah. He put the whole different twist on it. Yeah.
There's as I say, there's a story with every friend.
Did you ever play Gillies?
Oh Lord, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll bet that was some kind of experiences.
It was crazy.
Mm.
I got into a conversation the other day with John Travolta. John's a friend. Of course, Urban Cowboy came along and
Sure.
Mickey Gilley, a household word. And John and I was talking about the old Gilley days and stuff. I think every artist of the 70s played Gillies in the beginning, the world's largest at that time honky tonk. And I used to complain to Mickey. I'd say, "Mickey, the potholes are so big in your parking lot, you can lose a bus in one of those." But we all played there, and it was always an honor and a privilege.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's just amazing. Yes. Just just the history that you're sharing and the stories you're sharing. I mean, wow. That's just priceless. So, it's just amazing. But I mean, you have performed with so many people, and like DC kind of touched on, not only country music, but you kind of started out. I mean, and I read that you were with Motown for a while, and
Yep.
I had no idea of that.
I didn't either. Uh-uh.
Yeah, I was discovered by Barry Gordy at Motown
Oh, wow.
back when
Oh,
they had
wow.
Jackson and the
Yeah.
Supremes and Lionel Richie, and that's how I became such a close friend with Lionel. We've been friends for over 50 years.
Wow.
He had
Okay.
just signed with the Commodores at Motown, and we met way back then. And Motown was. You wouldn't think that a country guy like me would have gotten his start at Motown Records in Detroit.
Right.
But they were
Right.
starting a country division, and I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And I happened to be their first artist that they put on the new country label, and they put a lot of push behind me to make that first hit a big record, Devil in the Bottle, which went number one. Funny thing is I always dreamed of having a #1 record, maybe one or two of them. I never dreamed that in 50 years I'd wind up with 21 of them.
One of them. Yeah.
It still boggles my mind because there's so many great singers who deserve to be at the #1 spot that'll never get the opportunity. And I'm very, very blessed.
Well, one of the things I read, TG, was at one point, and I want to say maybe it was when you were with Warner Brothers. I'm trying to make sure I have my facts, but I might be a little off there. But 14 consecutive #1s, that's got to be some kind of
This record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were on a streak. I'm telling you, it's when things come to you in life.
Yeah.
Man, they come hard and fast. And but like so many idiots in this business, I'm one of them. I didn't take the time at that time in my life to stop and smell the roses. I do now as I'm older. I realize that the journey has been a long one and that I wish I'd taken a little more time along the way. Stop and smell the roses and enjoy those very special moments in my life. But I've got the memories now, and I appreciate them more now that I'm still here and still doing what I do every week on the road. So at least I have the memories.
Well,
yeah.
And you also have a very, very talented partner in your home.
Whew, boy, do I ever.
Yeah.
I
Unreal.
get
Just
to-
amazing.
I get to wake up next to Kelly Lang every day when I'm not on the road. My
Yeah.
great singer, songwriter,
Right.
author. She really and truly. I mean, how incredible is it to be married to someone who does what you do for a living? I mean,
Right.
it's a
Right.
And I can come in off the road and she'll say, "How did it go?" And 9 times out of 10, I will tell her, and she will have performed on those same stages herself sometime in her career. So
That's
it's yeah, Kelly is I'm very, very blessed to have her in my
Yeah.
life. We
Oh.
have a new duet album called Chemistry
Yes.
that is out now, and we took 2 years of our life to record it, and it came out a few months ago, and I'm really proud of her songwriting. And anybody who wants a copy of it can go anywhere the music is downloaded or streamed, or where you listen to music, or go to tgsheppard.com or kellylang.net and get an autographed copy and keep up with our schedules.
Oh, fantastic. I think DH has led us right into kind of closing this thing out.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, let us know. You got a fantastic website.
Yes.
That's been put together. So where can everybody kind of follow you on all your social stuff?
Well, I think it's important. Social media is a new tool for performers in this day and era. I wish we'd had it back in the 80s. I wonder how many people we could have reached back then.
Right.
But
Right.
we have
Sure.
it now. We have it now.
Yeah.
And you can we're on YouTube and X, which formerly Twitter, and Instagram, and all of those social platforms. You can look us up on there, or go to my new YouTube channel, TG Sheppard Official, and catch all the old videos and stuff, and new concert videos that we put up each week.
And I have been watching some of
Yes,
those. That's what I was
yes.
going to mention. Love seeing some of the old
Oh,
things.
Yeah,
yes.
I love being
There's so many memories. It really is.
But social media is so important nowadays, and
Right.
I invite anybody to go to that or go to tgsheppard.com. Keep up with our tour schedule.
Fantastic. Fantastic. What you got, DH?
TG, I just want to say, as we're getting ready to close everything out here, it has truly been my honor to be able to speak to you tonight. And I really, really appreciate everything, that you've done throughout the years, the memories you provided me, with my mom and everything, and just the continuation that you're doing of keeping those memories and that music alive. So it has been my honor to talk to you tonight.
No, that's where you're wrong. The honor is all mine, because to do what I do for a living and to be able to be heard through music, in a concert or a record, or when I speak, is something that I've never taken for granted. And I'm very, very honored and blessed to be able to visit with you. And I hope that maybe out there somewhere, somebody who sees this, maybe it'll touch their heart in some way.
Oh, I know it will.
Definitely.
I know it will. Definitely. All right. Can you hold there as we close out?
Sure.
All right.
All
right,
right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I'd like to thank our special guest, T.G. Sheppard. It's truly been an honor having you on.
Yes, sir. Yes,
folks,
sir.
remember, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker Radio, Radio Republic, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, on our website, D&D Dynamite 80s, Google Podcasts. Check out the article Nashville Voyager Magazine did on D&D. We appreciate that. We're also some of the newest members of the Canyon Star TV family, so you can watch our show on there.
You can see our show on there.
Check out that platform. DC, I'm going to say before I do what I normally say, this has truly been probably the show for me.
The show.
This has been the show. So
you got it, man.
Out of 4 years of doing this,
we've done this a good while, and this one has been truly an honor.
You guys have asked me several times who I would, who would I just would be the ultimate guest for me to have on. This has been that show. So
I knew that. That.
Guys,
I'm very thankful.
Thank you. And there's a lot more stories, so let's do it again sometime.
Oh, yes, we would be honored.
Would love to.
We would definitely be honored, sir.
Well,
all right.
Blessings to you and your families and your friends. And,
thank you so much.
And
safe travels for you and your wife and all your family. And oh, real quick, do you have something kind of? Are you going to go back on the road soon, or what's kind of right now going on?
I live on the road.
Okay. Okay.
I'm on tour each and every week of my life.
We'll check out that. We'll check out the schedule.
I spent a lot of time in Texas and New York is coming up. It's amazing. It's amazing right now at this point in my life to be able to go out and work more than I have ever worked.
Yeah.
And enjoying it more than I ever have. And I thank you guys.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Keep it going. Keep it going, my friend.
Good.
And folks, as I always end off before I throw it over to DC to take us out, remember, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind. So always be kind out there to each other. TG, what an honor.
Amen.
DC, I'm going to throw it over to you to take us out.
All right. Let me get these sponsors in real quick.
Yes, sir.
D&D Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, The Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, PJG Marketing, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, Riley Rhodes Art Designs at Riley Rhodes Art on Instagram, and The Magic Yarn Project. You can find all these great folks online.
You most certainly can. Check out the Magic Yarn Project. We had that young lady that had founded that organization. It is a nonprofit organization, and they make wigs, yarn wigs for children that are battling cancer.
Yes.
It's a fantastic opportunity to give back, and it's all volunteers. It's all volunteers that do that work. No one gets paid to do any of it. What did she say? They've done over 60,000 wigs for children in the world.
Yes, and
so we keep pushing that. And DH, I'm proud to say, several people have talked to me about they've gave, and that's awesome. That's good stuff.
And we also may have a lead where they needed someone to head up a program to start in Tennessee.
They need a chapter person in Tennessee. That's right.
Contact. So
that's fantastic. Whatever we can do to help out.
Yes,
absolutely. Well, TJ, it's been an honor. DH as well. This is DC, always kind of rolling you out of here with keep playing those 80s, friends, and we'll see you tomorrow night's regular show tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow night, folks.
All right.
TG,
take care.
Blessings
Thank you.
To you and your family. And